Hey everyone, welcome back. This is our final video on utilitarianism, and we're going to talk about the utility monster, which is another thought experiment by Robert Nozick. That dude really did not like utilitarianism. So, it's an objection to utilitarianism, meaning it's a thought experiment that is just designed to show utilitarianism must be false. And it comes from Robert Nozick in his book Anarchy, State, and Utopia, which is mostly a political philosophy book, but political philosophy and ethics have some pretty close connections. So he talks about utilitarianism in the book and criticizes it. So imagine a person that has the capacity to feel more happiness than all other people combined, more happiness than everyone else on the planet combined. So not just more happiness than each person on the planet, it's not just they feel the most happiness, but they have a greater capacity to feel happiness than everyone else alive combined. Well, that means if we put all our resources into making this person happy, that's what will maximize happiness, because they have a greater capacity for happiness than all other people combined. So they will feel more happiness than everyone else. So if we want to maximize happiness, we need to put all of our resources into making this person happy, this so-called utility monster happy. And this is true even if millions of people starve to death. If we take all of our resources, leaving the rest of us to starve to death, and put them into making the utility monster person happy, that will maximize happiness. They will feel so much happiness that it will outweigh the pain and suffering of everyone else. Now, such a person does not actually exist. That's why it's a thought experiment. But hypothetically, I mean, different people have different capacities for happiness. Everyone probably has a finite capacity for happiness. You will only ever feel a finite amount of happiness between now and when you die. Lives are finitely long. You're finitely happy each day. So you'll never feel infinite happiness. So as long as there are finitely many people feeling finitely many happiness, there is hypothetically an amount of happiness that one person could feel that would outweigh everyone else. So hypothetically, let's say this utility monster person who feels more happiness than everyone else combined exists. Well, this utility monster feels more happiness than everyone else ever will. And so if we let everyone else starve to death so that we can shove all our resources towards making the utility monster happy, then that is the morally best thing to do. If $1 worth of resources can make someone, let's say, 1 point worth of give them 1 point worth of happiness, it gives 1 billion points worth of happiness to the utility monster. Every dollar that we put towards feeding the utility monster or giving the utility monster whatever they want produces way more happiness than anything that dollar could produce spent on the rest of us. So given that, if we want to maximize happiness, the best thing to do is to put all our resources, everything, towards making the utility monster happy. Spend every dollar we have as a global economy on the utility monster. Let everyone else starve to death. That would be the thing that would maximize happiness. And so according to utilitarianism, that is the thing that would be morally right. It would be morally best for us to let everyone else starve so that we can give all our resources to the utility monster. So just for example, imagine that the people from shampoo commercials are real. Right? Imagine just for a minute that the people in like Pantene commercials really exist. They wash their hair and they feel more joy than you or I will ever feel, ever in our lives. The sheer joy and happiness they get from washing their hair is more than you will ever feel doing anything. Not uh, not when you get your dream job, not on your wedding day, nothing. Never. You'll never be as happy as shampoo commercial people are when they're washing their hair. And so utilitarianism says that we would have a moral duty to let ourselves starve to death working in shampoo factories so that these people can use as much shampoo as our species can produce. Right? Look at this person. Look at how happy they are. They are so happy just lathering, just washing hair with shampoo. A bottle of Pantene is, I don't know, Pantene's not the brand of shampoo I personally use, but let's say one of the big bottles is like, I don't know, $9 at Walgreens. $9 spent on a big bottle of Pantene given to one of these shampoo commercial people will produce more happiness than everything else we could possibly do. There's nothing we could do with $9 that would produce as much happiness in the world as giving the shampoo commercial people a bottle of shampoo. That $9 is better spent in terms of producing total happiness, better spent giving this person shampoo, buying shampoo for this person, than it could possibly be spent on like food for hungry people. Yeah, if you save the life of someone who's starving with $9 worth of food, the joy they'll feel, the happiness they will feel over the course of the rest of their life pales in comparison to the joy shampoo commercial people feel shampooing their hair. And you got to think, one big bottle of shampoo gives multiple washes. So we're looking at multiple lives, human lives worth of happiness from one bottle of shampoo going to the shampoo commercial person. So if we want to maximize happiness, the way to do it is to put all our resources into making shampoo and giving it to the shampoo commercial people. Give it to them, and that will produce more happiness than anything you or I could ever do. We morally, if utilitarianism is true, should be starving to death in the shampoo mines or the shampoo factories or whatever, making shampoo for these shampoo commercial people. That is what would maximize happiness in the world. Let everyone else die, let everyone else starve to death as long as these people get their shampoo. And that seems clearly wrong. Utilitarianism, if these shampoo commercial people were real, would tell us to starve to death so that we can make the utility monster happy, so that we can make the shampoo commercial people happy shampooing their hair for all of eternity. That seems immoral. Letting people starve to death or forcing people to work in shampoo factories seems clearly morally wrong. And yet, it would maximize happiness as long as we gave the shampoo to the shampoo commercial people. So they feel more happiness than the rest of us combined. So utilitarianism would say that this clearly immoral choice of letting everyone starve to death in the shampoo factories, that this clearly immoral choice is the morally best thing we could do in this scenario. It's what would produce the greatest total amount of happiness in the world. Because all the pain that the rest of us feel is nothing compared to the pleasure that the shampoo commercial people get from shampoo. So it would by far maximize happiness in the world to let all of us starve to death giving shampoo to the shampoo commercial people. And that means, like the kidnapping people and putting them in the experience machine case, that means that there are actions which would maximize happiness and yet are morally wrong. It would maximize happiness to let everyone on earth starve to death giving shampoo to the shampoo people, but it would be morally wrong to do so. Even though it maximizes happiness, it would be morally wrong. And that means we cannot define morally right as just maximizing happiness. because there are actions which maximize happiness and yet are morally wrong. So morally right isn't just maximizing happiness. There's something else to it. But this is exactly what utilitarianism does. It says actions are morally right in proportion to the happiness they produce, morally wrong in proportion to the unhappiness they produce. So morally right actions just are the actions that produce the most happiness, according to utilitarianism. But that's clearly not true, Nozick says. The utility monster case shows that there are hypothetical actions that would maximize happiness and yet would be morally wrong. And that means maximizing happiness and morally right can't just be defined as the same thing. They're not the same thing. Something could maximize happiness and not be morally right. And that means utilitarianism is false. The claim utilitarianism makes about morality is false. Actions are not as morally right as they maximize happiness. Morally right actions are not just those that produce the most happiness in the world. Actions can produce the most happiness in the world and still not be morally right. And so there must be something wrong with utilitarianism's definition of right and wrong. Right and wrong must be something else. Morality is not just about producing the greatest total happiness in the world. If it were, then letting everyone starve to feed the utility monster would be morally right. But it's not. Therefore, utilitarianism must be false. And that is the utility monster thought experiment. So, if you have any questions about that, please let me know. If you have any questions about anything we've talked about in these utilitarianism lectures, please let me know, and I will do my best to help and answer any questions that you have. Otherwise, I will see you in the next videos.